So we are back right now with basketball royalty. 10-time NBA All-Star and 2-time NBA champion David Robinson, formerly of the San Antonio Spurs, is here with us. David,
I like to still
so
think
much.
I'm part of the San Antonio Spurs.
Still a part of the family there.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
We first want to talk to you about March Madness. The tournament gets underway in just a few days on Thursday. You are part of a new Dove Men March Madness campaign.
Yeah.
It's all about real strength, and it actually includes a real strength manifesto here. So tell us about this.
Yeah, it's a manifesto to the fans. Just really trying to relate to the fans and help them understand how important they've been to us as athletes. Even from the time back in, obviously March Madness, and then you go to the NBA and you see how much families commit to the sports and commit to their favorite athletes. So it's just a chance for us to kind of give back to the fans.
It's interesting, David, as we talk about the fans, we obviously have covered the news of this ongoing investigation involving a number of teams.
Yeah.
And you wonder, what is the impact of fan excitement on that? Do you think that this might have a negative impact on how excited fans are for the tourney?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously people don't like scandal. They don't like the FBI getting involved in their favorite sport. That's not a lot of fun. So, I've been so fortunate to be a part of the basketball commission. Condoleezza Rice is amazing. Some very, very smart people on this commission. And, we're an independent commission, so we're not working for the NCAA we're just collecting information, trying to figure out what are some of the best things maybe we can do to clean things up. And, I mean, you have student athletes. We want the student part to be just as important as the athlete part.
I mean, your experience, David, as an undergraduate at the Naval Academy, a little bit different than maybe some of the other athletes, but doesn't this speak to this whole idea that student athletes maybe need to get paid, or does the whole system need to change?
Well, that's something that's been discussed, and we've discussed it. But, I think the thing is understanding, hey, look, maybe just the dialogue needs to change a little bit, right? The opportunity to be in college is the best time of our lives. It's still an amazing opportunity. I'm the opposite example of the one and dones, right? The one and done guys are the guys who come on campus for like a semester and then they go off and play pro. I stayed 4 years, Tim Duncan stayed 4 years, and it benefited both of us tremendously. It gave us a great platform, and it really set the stage for us to be able to go out and earn a great living. And so for 99% of these kids coming into college, they're never going to play pro, or they're never going to make it, or they're not going to have a long career in the pros. So the college experience and the college opportunity is going to be their best opportunity. So how do we change that dialogue where, the NCAA shouldn't be the enemy of the athlete? Right. Whereas I think, sometimes you watch the punishments, you watch all these things going on, and I think that students sometimes feel a little bit like they're kind of at odds with the NCAA. So we're trying to kind of figure out a way that, that it can be more equitable on all sides.
Let's zoom out a little bit, David, and talk about business off the court. I'm so interested in tracking what athletes do after they retire from pro sports, how they continue to earn money, where they invest their money. You have a private equity firm. Tell us about that, and what's your sort of investing philosophy?
My investing philosophy is make money, don't lose it. Simple philosophy. Now, we started a private equity firm basically because when I was playing, I was very into giving back to the community, especially in the form of education. We started schools in San Antonio 15 years ago, these little private schools called Carver Academy. And since then, we've turned it into a charter school. We built 20 new schools. We raised, $50 million to build these schools. And now across Texas, we have 61 schools. Almost 40,000 students in our schools, and we send every single child to college. We build our schools primarily in the lower income areas, and we get them focused and geared towards college. And we've had a 100% matriculation rate over the last 14 years. So an amazing opportunity for us, but obviously funding these schools, building these schools, it takes money. So I wanted to start a business where I could basically tithe into the communities where we're investing, and Admiral Capital has been a perfect venue for that. We've raised 2 value-add real estate funds. We've done some individual investments. We've got hundreds of friends and family and investors that we do, one-off deals with, which are a lot of fun. And I've got a great team here in New York. So that has been very exciting for me to kind of learn the private equity world a little bit.
And it's a little bit of a family affair, too. I know one of your sons was out in Los Angeles hobnobbing, or maybe learning from Charlie Munger.
I think it was more hobnobbing.
Hobnobbing and learning from Charlie Munger, the great, value investor partner of Warren Buffett. He's a part of Admiral Capital as well?
Yeah, my oldest son, David Jr., went to University of Texas, and he's been working here in New York City for the last couple of years. I finally convinced him, we'd love to have you on our team. And so he sweeps the floor for us, gets us coffee. No, he's wonderful. He's been an incredible addition to our team and helps me on my community side. We give 10% of all of our returns, not our investors' returns, but our returns to the communities where we're investing. And so he's my connection to all of the great partners, whether it's a Hilton or a Santikos Theaters or, Academy Sporting Goods, whoever we're partnered with in those communities to kind of figure out how do we leverage what we have and we leverage what you have to make the largest splash in those communities.
And David, turning back to the NBA now, you are one of the exceptions here. A lot of players who are in the NBA who makes millions of dollars, they don't know what to do with their money. There's one statistic, I think it's about 60% of former NBA players are broke within 5 years of retiring from the league. Do you think the league needs to do more in terms of educating their players, in terms of teaching them how to invest, what's right and what's wrong, so 60% of the players aren't in that spot 5 years after they leave?
In honesty, I think the league does a pretty good job. It's really, I think in college we could do a better job of really preparing these kids. When these kids are geared towards going to the NBA, at an early stage, start giving them good basic financial help. Classes. A kid's going to be in your college 1 year or 2 years. It'd be a good idea to teach him how to handle his finances. How do you file your taxes? How do you keep a checkbook? Why should you not go out and buy the biggest house you can possibly afford? Those are like simple things that you would think, colleges are educational institutions. So there probably should be some help on that side. And obviously, I'm a big family guy. I think the family's like that first unit. We've got to strengthen families. We've got to do a better job in our communities. And how do we support the families? How do we support these kids? We do it through education. Obviously, that's one of the big things we do. But I think the family unit is a really strong key here. These kids, it's hard to change a kid when he's 17, 18 years old. All of a sudden, you're going to, make him a responsible adult, or you're going to make him a concerned citizen, or, it's difficult. So we just got to do a better job as a society in general.